So today we're talking Evan Tanner. So you can expect spice, girls, language, some insurrection on foreign lands, and a particular character who doesn't sleep. Stick around. So welcome back to Kevin Toll Reads, where today we are talking Evan Tanner by Lawrence Block, Tanner's Virgin, which is book number 6 in the Evan Tanner series. I have 2 of these left to complete out the series of 8 books in the saga of Evan Tanner by Lawrence Block. This was published in 1968. It is a thriller mystery. I really like these. I do. They're a mixed bag, though, and we're going to talk about it. But first, let's talk about the summary of this thing. So Tanner is, at the time, and I don't think I've ever gotten his age in other stories, but based on some of the dialogue, he is double the age, or this girl is half the age of him, and she's 18, so he is 36 at the time of the story. And he is this ever hopeless romantic. He gets a call, but it's not from the chief. It is from a mother named Horitz, and who needs his help to rescue her daughter, who is pure of heart, amongst other things. And at first he thinks, well, this is the scorned mother of another girl that I may have had a child with, and he hangs up on her. And lo and behold, she's very insistent, and she calls back, and he finds out, guess what, that she really does need his help. And so her daughter, Phaedra, who actually went by the name, or was referred to as the name of Deborah Horitz, is basically has been abducted. She was abducted by Afghan slave traders, taken across the world and sold into slavery to a brothel. And so Evan finds himself in London, then in Afghanistan, then on to Turkey, trying to basically find this girl. And some situations really spawned my recollection of the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. And we'll talk about that as well. And Evan, in true Evan fashion, gets into all kinds of mischief. He's chased by the KGB and Russian spies trying to kill him. He finds himself intertwined in a CIA plot that he overthrows accidentally, not even without any real knowledge of knowing. And then he actually swims the English Channel, all while trying to find this girl and bring her home safely, so the mom will stop calling him. And so that's the summary of this wacky thing. So let's talk about what I enjoyed. I really enjoyed the very beginning because it really gets off to a really weird start, but it's done in such a cheesy way that it kind of works for me. And I also liked a little bit of the nods where we get these subtle little hints that, hey, he has 2 sons, Toldor and Jano, and they live in Macedonia in the hills with Analia, their mother. And he is the father of those 2 children. And I believe he sends them money every now and when he can. And so I thought that was really interesting. The chief, who I really enjoy, especially their conversations between the chief and Evan, and just the fact that the chief, you don't even know what part of the military or what 3-letter alphabet soup agency the chief works for, but he believes Evan Tanner works for him. Evan Tanner doesn't know who he works for, and he doesn't even know if he's even working, but he gets money from him, so he just kind of keeps doing it. But I really like the dialogue between the 2 of them. The chief actually doesn't come into the play until the end of the story, which I kind of disliked, but I did like it at the end. This book is kind of all over the place, so this review is going to follow suit. It's a fast, entertaining read. I really enjoyed it. I got through this in like 3 settings really quick. Like I mentioned earlier in the summary, there's a specific torture scene in this that is reminiscent of the movie Taken. And yeah, I was really, besides that, he doesn't use electricity in that particular instance. If you've seen the movie, but yeah, there's a torture thing. I need to find this girl, give me information type thing. So I thought it was really, really well done. I really enjoyed also Evan Tanner working with a man named Amnulala, I think is how you pronounce it. And he was kind of like the owner of, the slave trading business. And he kind of sends him on his way to a specific brothel. And it is overseen by this maiden who Evan Tanner refers to her as the Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah, you just got to read the thing. So there is an excerpt that I thought was really, really good. And it kind of sums up this book in a way. I always say that the excerpts are indicative of the book, but this excerpt, it really kind of sums this book up. There are those parts of the likeness of life which we must know but not remember. And there are those parts of the likeness of life which we must remember but need not know. And there's part of this book that you could insert different sections into that saying, and it would fit perfectly. So in terms of dislikes, I really thought the chief was going to be more involved here. I like when the chief is more prevalent, even if it's just bookending the story at, first given the mission and then at the end kind of summarizing how things went. We got a little bit at the end on this one. It just kind of just goes. I really thought maybe we were going to get some continuation of the overarching arc with Minna, who has been staying with him. She's mentioned briefly at the beginning. She really doesn't come into play really at all here. And then there's, just his personal dealings with like the CIA, the implications that he sticks it to the CIA. But it's also vaguely mentioned that it's just kind of in passing, which a lot of the stuff in here is Easter egged and in passing, but I was really wanting a little more there. That's just a personal thing. In terms of rating and overall impression, I give it a 3.9 out of 5. These are a mixed bag, honestly. There's some really good ones that I really enjoyed, whether I coming off of other series or whatever, and for whatever reason, it just hits with me. This is good. I'm not disappointed at all with it. It's just wacky. It's really wacky. I mean, at one point, they have to seek a monastery to exorcise Phaedra's addiction after being in the brothel for 2 months. And that's all I'm going to say. And you can kind of fill in the blanks there. But it's you would think that sounds really disturbing, but it's done in such a wacky way that it's just funny. And he just blocks seams, and you can tell that he just pushes the boundary of what, just pushing it. You have spice here and humor here, and he keeps just trying to bring them together and just kind of somehow ride the middle ground of that. And it kind of works. But yeah, that is my take for this entry in Evan Tanner. Tanner's Virgin, 3.9 out of 5. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Thanks.